Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss one more new topic that is online search agent. But before going into that, we will also discuss the important differences in AI domain. The differences means what exactly the difference between strong AI and weak AI. Already we covered this particular difference, but we will take a review of this difference. That is difference between uninformed search and informed search. Then difference between breadth first search and depth first search, and then we will go to our topic, that is online search agents. But before going into all these points, let me take the review of what we covered in the previous lecture. In the previous lecture we covered local search algorithms, and we discussed that how it is different from classical search algorithms. Which are those classical search algorithms? Informed and uninformed search. All the types of these comes under classical search algorithms. So local search algorithm is different than this. So we already discussed this in detail in the previous lecture, and we discussed how these local search algorithms can be described with the help of state space diagram, okay, which has state space on the x-axis, and on y-axis there can be objective function or cost function, based on which we will get global maximum or local maximum, or global minimum or local minimum. So we discussed this, and we also mentioned in the previous lecture that there are three major types of local search algorithms. Those were hill climbing search and simulated annealing and local beam search. So in the previous lecture we discussed in detail the hill climbing algorithm. After that we also discussed the three types of hill climbing algorithm. Those were simple hill climbing, steepest ascent hill climbing, though their algorithms we discussed. And at the end of this previous lecture we discussed the various limitations of hill climbing algorithm. The first limitation was local maxima problem, plateau problem, and ridges problem. So today we are going to discuss the difference between intelligence. What is the meaning difference between intelligence and artificial intelligence? So intelligence means the human beings generally has intelligence. This is what we say, as compared to other animals, the human being has intelligence. We generally says this. So and this particular word is added here. It means that intelligence can also be added artificially into some object, into some program, into some machine. So that all program, this machine or robot, generally we call in our language as agent. So agent can be fed with artificial intelligence. Okay, so the intelligence on left side, this intelligence it is intended for human being, and this artificial is intended for agent, AI agent. Okay, so we are going to compare the intelligence of human being with the intelligence of AI agent. So intelligence of human being is a natural process. Okay, it is a quality of human being, while artificial intelligence is programmed using human intelligence. Means human being add the intelligence into the machines or agents, okay, with the help of programs. Human beings intelligence is hereditary. In case of agents intelligence, it is not hereditary, okay, but it is a copy of human intelligence. That means machines try to copy human being in the context of intelligence. That means, for example, human being can think, human being can do actions, it can take actions, human being can also solve the problems, human being can make the decisions. All of these personal traits we want to be in our agent, to be in our machine. That means the machine wants to copy, should copy the human intelligence. Human intelligence means all the traits of human being, such as reasoning ability, decision making ability of human being, problem solving ability, thinking ability, acting ability. Okay. Third difference is human brain does not require any electricity to show his intelligence, because there is no need of electricity. Okay. But in case of machines or agents, artificial intelligence, if machine wants to show, it requires electricity. Okay, power supply, power is required. Obviously machine, if the machine want if machine to do certain action, power supply is required, electricity is required. Execution speed of human brain is very less. Okay, execution speed is higher in human brain. For example, our computer can do the calculation, complex calculations within a fractions of second, which a human being cannot do. Human being takes some time to do the complex calculations, but with the help of machines we can do those calculations with fractions of second. Okay, human intelligence can handle different situations in a better way. Here it is designed to handle only a few types of problems. That means your AI agent or machine can only handle few types of problems. As compared to this, human being can handle different situations, various problems, lot of problems it can handle, because human intelligence, even though it is not speedy, or it is not as fast as a machine, but it has the ability to solve various types of problems which a machine cannot do. Human brain is analog. Okay, and artificial brain works on digital data. Okay, artificial brain works on digital data, but human brain can work on analog data. So this is an overall difference between human intelligence and machine intelligence, that is artificial intelligence. Then in the AI domain, we frequently read this particular word: strong AI, strong artificial intelligence, and weak artificial intelligence. So what does exactly it mean? Agent gets in strong AI, agent means machine, gets capable of thinking at least equal to human beings. Means almost equal to human beings. In strong AI, the machine can think almost equal to human being. Okay, with the same capacity as that of human being. But in case of weak AI, if we have weak artificial intelligence, then machine gets a thinking like feature to make it powerful. Means it just try to get a little bit feature of thinking in weak AI, not powerful, not full thinking ability as like human being, but little bit ability of thinking is possible in weak AI agent. It is possible in agent which works on weak AI. Okay, in strong AI, a machine can perform task on its own just like human beings. That means the action taking ability of machine is almost equivalent to human being in case of strong AI. But in case of weak AI, machine can perform task but need human intervention. That means machine can perform the task, but human must be there to support that machine. Human intervention is required to perform that particular task in weak AI. Computer program adds an algorithm itself to act in different situation. In case of strong AI, that means computer or the machine is capable to add new algorithms itself. Machine itself adds the program to act for different situations or different problems. But here in weak AI, the whatever task the machine want to perform is to be added manually by the human being. Okay, but here in strong AI, machine do not need human intervention. Machine itself can add new algorithms or new programs for different situations. Strong AI allows machines to solve problems in an unlimited domain. So number of it, what is the meaning of this? Unlimited domain means large variety of problems can be solved with, if your agent is based on strong AI. Okay, variety of problems, just like human being can solve variety of problems. Okay, any problem human being generally can solve. Okay, so if your AI agent is based on strong AI, then it can also do the same. Okay, but here in weak AI, it allows machines to solve problem in limited domain. So limited number of problems only can be solved with the help of agent based on weak AI. It is an independent AI which can take the decision on its own. So what you have to think, whenever agent is based on strong AI, it is almost equal to human being. That machine, that agent is almost equal to human being. That's why the point is this: it is an independent AI which can take the decision on its own. Okay, and here the agent is dependent on humans and can simulate like human beings, means the decision making is dependent on humans intervention. This point is similar to this. So for taking decision also humans are required. Okay, in weak AI. Currently strong AI does not exist. This is very important. Even though conceptually strong AI concept is there, okay, theoretically strong AI concept is there in the market, but currently no strong AI application or agent exists in this world. Okay, but weak AI is present in the real world, in today's world, but it is in its advanced phase. Okay, if all of the AI agent becomes strong AI agent, then it is very difficult for the human beings to survive, because all of the tasks will be handled by the agents based on strong AI. Okay, so there will not be in such a world, there will not be any use of human beings. So that's why some of the people in the world are bothered about strong AI agents, strong AI applications, because ultimately due to this the role of human being will be closed in this world. Okay, and this world will be of only machines, those were equivalent to human beings. That's why strong AI, some people think that there must not be this must not be in reality. Strong AI agents must not be in reality in this world. There is no proper example of it. Why? Because strong AI application or agent does not exist at this moment in this world. But for weak AI, there are number of examples. For example, automatic car means autonomous car, or self-driving car, or driverless car. Apple product Siri is there. It is just equivalent to Google Assistant product of Google. Okay. In the very first lecture number 1, I explained what is Google Assistant and what is Siri product of Apple. Okay. So this is the difference between strong AI and weak AI. These are the concepts. Strong AI is it is just in a fantasy stage. That means nobody knows when this strong AI agent will be a reality in the world. But currently the weak AI agents are available in this world. Okay. We already covered this difference. What is the difference between uninformed search strategy and informed search strategy? So please refer the lecture which I covered on informed search before the A star and greedy best first search. Okay. Difference between these two also I think covered. For example, breadth first search, it searches a node breadth-wise. All the nodes search tree, all the nodes in a search tree are searched in a breadth-wise fashion, covering level by level. Searching is done level by level, level 0, level 1, then all the nodes in level 2, then all the nodes in level 3, 4 and so on are searched level by level, breadth-wise. But here DFS searches a node in the search tree depth-wise. That means it covers one path deeply first. Once the first path is completed, then it backtracks the algorithm and goes on the second path towards the solution. It works on the FIFO principle, first in, first out. So whatever node is searched first, whatever node in search tree is searched first or traversed first is made out of the memory. But here exactly opposite, it works on last in first out. So whichever node is searched last will be made out of the memory. That's why it is possible in DFS. That's why we can say that it uses the LIFO to store the data in the memory. BFS is a vertex based algorithm and it is a edge based algorithm. The structure of BFS tree is wide and short. The structure of DFS tree is narrow and long. Okay. The oldest unexpanded node is its first priority to explore it. That means first in first out. Suppose this is your queue. So whatever node comes first, for example there are 4 compartments, first node, second, third, fourth. If the first node is entered first, that means it is oldest, then this is second node, for example this is third and this is fourth. So as first node here is oldest, therefore it is explored first, means expanded first, that means traverse first in BFS. Here in DFS, nodes along the edges are explored, that means nodes along one path. Whatever path is selected by DFS, along that path all the nodes are explored first. Then after that nodes on the second path will be explored, like this. Okay. So this is difference between BFS and DFS. So now we will come to our next point, that is online search agent. So what exactly online search agent is? Let us go through the first point. So far we have concentrated on agents that use offline search. Whatever searching techniques up till now we discussed can be treated as or can be considered as offline search. Okay. They compute a complete solution before, this is very important, before setting foot in the real world. That means all the testing of the algorithm, all the computation of algorithm is done before applying that algorithm in the real world problem, before applying that algorithm for the real world problem, actual problem. Okay. So on simulation basis, everything, all computations are done first, it is verified, tested, final solution is obtained. Okay, final path is obtained, optimal path is obtained, and then only this algorithm is applied to real world problem. So this is that is why it is called as offline search algorithms. So all the informed and uninformed search algorithms are considered as offline search algorithms. Then execute the solution without resource to percept. That means they will not take the real time percepts, real time measurements, real times readings. Okay. But here in contrast, an online search agent operates by interleaving two things. Which two things are interleaved? Interleaved means first action if it is taken, then after that second action is taken. Again action number 1 is again taken, then again action number 2 is taken. Again action number 1 is taken, again action number 2 is taken, and so on. So which two actions are interleaved? Interleaved means they are taken one by one after the other. So which two actions are interleaved? Computation. Computation means calculation, and based on the calculation action is taken. In case of online search agents, agent means what? Agent you already we discussed. Agent means it can be a machine, it can be a program, it can be a robot, it can be a computer in which we have added artificial intelligence. Okay, agent is a machine. So because in this subject what we exactly want? We want to design and develop agent which can think like a human being, which can act like a human being, which can take the decision like human being, and so on. Okay. So in case of online search agent as compared to offline, the operations are interleaved. Which two operations? Computation means calculation, doing calculation, and taking actions. First it takes action, then it observes the environment. Okay. Based on the observation of environment, then it computes the next action. Okay, what is done first? First it takes the action, some action is taken, then observing the environment is carried out, environment is observed then, and based on these two, then next action is taken. Okay, so before observing the environment, the next action is not taken. Before observing the actual environment, this is very important, real time environment, that's why here the real world word is mentioned, real world problem. Okay, so in case of online search agent, you remember two operations are interlude, computation and action. That means the agent first take the action, then observes the environment and then compute the next action, otherwise not. Before observing the environment, next action is not taken. That's why it is called as online search agent. That means it takes the inputs from environment in an online manner. Okay, in a real time manner. Online means real time manner. Okay, in case of this, all the inputs are initially taken, all the inputs or all the measurements with the help of sensors are initially taken, already taken by the agent, and based on all those measurements or all those readings, the computation is done. That means there is no role of environment later on. Okay, once all the inputs are taken from the environment, then all the computation is done. Okay, and based on that computation, optimal solution is found out, and then it is applied to real world. But here in this case, what happens? Some action is taken, then again environment is scanned, based that from that environment some new measurements are taken, then based on that next action or new action or next action is taken. Online search is a good idea in dynamic environment or semi-dynamic. Means if the environment is continuously changing, for example, what I mean to say, let me erase these points. Let me draw one type of environment first. For example, this is our environment and this is our agent. Some agent is there, for example some robot is there. Okay, so in case of offline search, all the measurements are taken from this environment at a time or one by one after the other. After taking all these inputs, all these sensor measurements, then this agent perform the task. It does the computation, it try to solve the problems and try to find out the optimal solution. During finding out the optimal solution, there is no role of this agent, there is no role of this environment. That means during computation, no readings or no measurements are taken by the agent from this environment in case of offline search. Okay, but what is the disadvantage of this? If unfortunately suppose the environment changes after these readings are taken, once the readings are taken and the agent is doing some computation, but unfortunately the environment changes accidentally, therefore what happens then? Whatever computation agent will do, that will go in vain, that will be of no use, because the environment is changed. Whatever readings the agent took previously, those were of no use because now environment is changed. That means such an environment is called as dynamic environment. Okay, in case of dynamic or semi-dynamic environment, there is no use of offline agent because the environment is changing continuously. Okay, and therefore the readings or measurements taken previously were of no use. That's why the idea of online search agent is perfect for dynamic and semi-dynamic environment, where you can interleave computation and actions. Okay, you simultaneously you can take the actions, and the same time you can scan the environment to get the new readings. Okay, it is even better idea for stochastic domains or stochastic environments. Stochastic environment we already covered in one lecture. There are various types of environment we already covered: partially observable environment or fully observable, dynamic or static, then stochastic versus deterministic environment. So please prefer that particular video, you will understand what does the stochastic mean. In general, an offline search would have to come up with an exponentially large contingency plan that consider all possible happenings, while an online search need to consider only what actually happened in the environment. It is based on the real time measurements of the environment. This is the meaning of this. Okay, so real time measurements from environment are taken in online search agent, but in case of offline, all the measurements are taken. Okay, all the measurements are taken from the environment, then there is a no, after that the environment is ignored completely. That's why in case of offline search agent, large contingency plans are to be explored in order to get the solution. This is the meaning of this. Online search is necessary idea for exploration problems where the states and actions are unknown to the agent. Okay, for example, states means what? For example, this is our starting node or root node or initial state, and this is our final state. In between these two there are number of states. Okay, there can be number of states. These are called as intermediate states. So many times it happens that suppose this particular state comes in front of agent, this state, then what action to take, if this particular state comes in front of agent, then the another action the agent should take. Here if the third state comes in front of agent, third different type of action the agent should take. Okay, so for each state, for each intermediate state, like all these different actions the agent should take, but many times these intermediate states and what actions to take are unknown. Okay, unknown to the agent. Okay, in such case your offline search agents, the agents which are based on offline search, will be of no use. Okay, in that case online search agents are very useful. Such a problems are called as exploration problem, wherein states and actions agent do not know, they are unknown to the agent, and that's why it is expected that agent should take the continuous measurements from the environment so as to get the idea of states and to decide what actions to take. Okay, an agent in this state of ignorance must use its actions as experiments. So what is the meaning of this? Suppose this is environment. Okay, suppose the first measurement is taken, or percept we can say in our language, in AI language it is called as percept. Percept means sensor measurement, and this is our agent. Suppose this is a robot. Okay, for first measurement, let us say this action is taken, and let us say after some time second measurements are taken from the environment. For this, suppose this action is taken. After that, suppose third measurement is taken from the environment by the agent after some time. Then for this, suppose this action is taken. Okay, so each time new measurements is obtained by the agent, and for that whatever action is taken, the agent stores it in memory. Okay, that means the agent treats all these actions based for these measurements as experiments. So you know that human being also whatever experiences the human being get in day-to-day life, we can treat those experiences as our experiments. Okay, whatever we made some mistake for some experience, in some experience, we will not do these mistakes in the near future. That means why we avoided to ignore or avoided to go that do that mistakes, because in the past we learnt from that experience that this way I should not do some task. Okay, some mistakes are there. So that means human being also does some treat those previous experiences as experiments to determine what to do next. Hence must interleave computation and action. The examples of online search agents you can give like this: a robot placed in a new building. New building, this word is very important. Why new? Because the states and actions are unknowns. Okay, if there is a new building and suppose the robot want to explore or build a map that it can use for getting from A to B. Suppose there is a new building and there is a two rooms in that. Suppose room A and room B is there and robot is there. So robot when navigate in A, room A, then obviously it want to go to B. During its tour it continuously save the route in the memory. That means it is building a map of that building, because the building is new to the agent, new to the robot. Okay, so this way you can treat this robot which is in new building as a online search agent. That means a robot do not know the map of this particular new building. New is very important word. For robot, the building is new. That's why the robot do not know where is room A, where is room B, where is room C, where is room D. So robot do not know. That's why in that case we can say that the robot is doing online search. It is acting as an online search agent. Consider a newborn baby. It has many possible actions but knows the outcomes of none of them. You say the newborn baby do not know what to do. For example, if somebody throws the baby in the air, many times we throw our baby in the air for a very small height as a so in that case the baby do not know what will happen if our parent do not catches us if they throw us in air. So the baby do not know the outcome of that action. It has experienced only a few of the possible state. That means suppose a baby is there of 1 year old or 2 year old. It learns the real world actions day by day. That means initially it starts speaking A, then starts speaking B, C. After some time it will start speaking H, F, 1, 2, and later on after 1 or 2 year again the baby will be able to speak in a language, in English language or maybe in some other regional language. Okay, so the baby has experienced only a few of the possible states that it can reach. The baby's gradual discovery, gradual is very important word, gradual discovery of how the world works is in part is an online search process. That means the baby learns various actions, various things in this real world day by day. The baby do not know this world day by day, year by year, month by month, people by people. So it learns from this environment, this world environment. That's why we can say that the newborn baby can be treated as an online search agent, or it is doing online search process. After each action, online agent receives a percept. That is what we explained, that it is doing what? It is interleaving computation and action. That means it take action, observes the environment. Observe the environment means it takes the readings from the environment. Readings means sensor measurements, and in technical word sensor measurements are called as percept. Okay, so this is the meaning of this. After each action, online agent receives percept. Percept means sensor measurements. From where we get it? From environment. Okay, after each action, online agent receives a percept telling it what state it has reached. From this information, it can augment its map of the environment. Based on that percept, then it will do some action, it will take some action in the environment. The current map is used. Map means what? The observation of the environment, you can say, or the whatever happening going on in the environment are stored in the memory of agent. Then we can call it as a map. Okay, so map describes the world or this environment, is used to decide where to go next. Okay, based on the experience, based on the readings from the measurement. This interleaving of planning and action means that online search algorithms are quite different from the offline search. That is what we already discussed, how they are different. For example, online search algorithms such as A-star algorithm, we already discussed it in the previous lecture, have the ability to expand a node in one part of the space and then immediately expand a node in another part of the space, because node expansion involves simulated rather than real actions. An online algorithm or online search agent, on the other hand, can expand only a node that it physically occupies, which it physically sees, which physically watch. Okay, until and unless some node is not coming in front of online search agent, it will not occupy it. It will not take any action for that particular node or for that particular intermediate state. To avoid traveling all the way the tree to expand the next node, it seems better to expand nodes in a local order. Local order means whatever, suppose this is your agent robot and this is your environment. Suppose first node comes for first state comes, as soon as first state or first node comes in front of this, then this robot will take some action. After some time, second node or second state comes in front of this agent, then based on that second measurement, then agent takes some action. But suppose after second, third, fourth and fifth nodes or states are in the queue to come in front of agent, but as these 3, 4, 5 states up till now has not come in front of agent, that's why agent will not take any action on 3, 4, 5, as only 1 and 2 appeared in front of agent. So agent will take action based on only first and second measurement or second state or second node. It will not take action until and unless 3, 4, 5 comes in front. Okay, that means it seems better to expand nodes in local order. Okay, so this is the meaning of online search agent. So online search agent is different than offline search agent, or online search algorithms are different from offline search algorithm. So today we will stop here. In the next lecture we will discuss what is the meaning of optimal decisions in games, what exactly game means. We will also see that adversarial search problems, games are also called as adversarial search problems. In this particular next lecture, we will cover the two types of adversarial search problems, which are minimax algorithm and alpha beta pruning. Adversarial search algorithms are also called as games. Adversarial search algorithms are also called as games. There are two basic categories of such searches: minimax algorithm and alpha beta pruning algorithm. So in the next lecture we will discuss adversarial search algorithms. Before this we already covered informed search algorithm, uninformed search algorithm, online search algorithm, and now in the next lecture we will discuss adversarial search algorithms. Okay, so today we will stop here. Thank you very much.